The woman stood out. In the dimly lit corridors of the city jail, her presence was unmistakable. She moved with a grace that seemed almost out of place in such a grim setting, yet it was this very contrast that made her so captivating. Her uniform, crisp and perfectly fitted, only added to her allure, making her an enigmatic figure among the cold steel bars. Not just because she was beautiful. Her beauty was undeniable, but it was the way she carried herself that truly set her apart. There was a seriousness in her eyes, a depth that hinted at stories untold. She wasn't just a pretty face, she was a force to be reckoned with, a woman who commanded attention and respect in equal measure. But because she was beautiful in a uniform meant to command respect, not desire. Her uniform was a symbol of authority, a reminder that she was there to uphold the law. Yet there was an undeniable allure to her presence, a magnetism that drew people in, even as it kept them at arm's length. She was a paradox, a beautiful enigma in a world of order and discipline. Officer Angela Bell, they called her, Angel for short. Her colleagues respected her, the inmates feared her, and everyone else was simply captivated by her. She was a fixture in the jail, a constant presence that seemed to watch over everything with an almost otherworldly calm. But beneath that calm exterior lay a secret, one that few could even begin to guess. Little did anyone suspect, Angel harbored a dark secret, a dangerous game she played within the cold steel bars of the city jail. Her beauty, a trap. She used her looks, her charm, and her position to manipulate those around her, weaving a web of intrigue and deception that few could escape. It was a game she played with skill and precision, always staying one step ahead of those who might uncover her true intentions. Her badge, a tool, it was more than just a symbol of her authority, it was a key to unlocking doors, both literal and figurative. With it, she could gain access to places and information that others could only dream of. It was a weapon in her arsenal, one that she wielded with expert precision, and the inmates, her willing prey. They were drawn to her, unable to resist the pull of her beauty and the promise of something more. She played them like pawns in a game of chess, always thinking several moves ahead. They were her willing participants, caught in a trap of their own making, unable to see the danger until it was too late. In the end, they were all just pieces in her grand design, a beautiful trap set by an even more beautiful mind. Angel wasn't always like this. She was once a beacon of hope, a symbol of what the police force could be. Fresh out of the academy, her eyes sparkled with idealism. She was driven by a deep-seated belief in justice, in the power of the law to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. Her enthusiasm was infectious, and her colleagues admired her dedication and spirit. Fresh out of the academy, her eyes sparkled with idealism. She believed in the mission of the police force, in the idea that she could make a difference. She saw herself as a guardian of the community, a protector of those who couldn't protect themselves. Her days were filled with training, learning the ropes and dreaming of the impact she would make. She believed in justice, in protecting the innocent. She spent her early days on the force engaging with the community, building trust, and making connections. She helped children cross the street, talked to local shop owners, and participated in community events. Her presence was a reassuring one, and people began to recognize her as a friendly face in the neighborhood. But the reality of police work, the violence, the despair, chipped away at her idealism. The job hardened her. She faced situations that tested her resolve, moments of intense danger and heart-wrenching sorrow. The endless stream of crime scenes, the victims' faces, the perpetrator's lack of remorse, it all began to take a toll on her spirit. The weight of the badge grew heavier with each passing day. The endless parade of criminals, their disrespect, their utter disregard for the law, bred in her a quiet contempt. She found herself in confrontations that left her questioning the very nature of humanity. The once bright-eyed officer now saw the world through a lens of skepticism and wariness. The job that she had once approached with such passion now felt like a relentless battle against an unyielding tide of darkness. A dangerous seed was sown. The experiences she endured began to change her, planting a seed of bitterness and disillusionment. Her eyes, once filled with hope, now reflected the harsh realities of her daily encounters. The transformation was subtle, but undeniable. The idealistic young officer was slowly being replaced by someone who had seen too much, someone who had been hardened by the very world she had set out to protect. It started subtly, a lingering glance, a whispered word. The inmates, starved for attention, for anything to break the monotony, responded to her. She chose her targets carefully, men with influence, with information. She offered them favors, small at first, a cigarette, extra time in the yard. In return, they gave her what she craved: power, control, a sense of being desired. Word spread quickly through the jail. Officer Bell, the beautiful, the untouchable, had a weakness. A dangerous rumor mill began to churn. Some inmates boasted of her favors, embellishing their stories with each telling. Others, suspicious, watched. They saw the way she looked at certain inmates, the way she lingered in their cells just a little too long. Something wasn't right. One inmate, however, saw an opportunity. He had nothing to lose facing a lengthy sentence. He contacted a young detective, known for his integrity. He told him about Officer Bell, about her games, and offered to help expose her. The detective, skeptical but intrigued, agreed. A plan was hatched, a dangerous game of cat and mouse within the very walls of the prison. The trap was set. Hidden cameras were installed. The inmate, wired for sound, played his part, drawing Officer Bell deeper into her web of deceit. He played on her vanity, her need for control, and she, blinded by her own arrogance, fell for it. The evidence was irrefutable, her betrayal captured in cold, hard pixels. Angel, the officer, was no more. The arrest was swift, brutal. 1 minute, Officer Bell was patrolling the cell block. The next, she was in handcuffs, her own colleagues staring at her with a mixture of disgust and disbelief. The media had a field day. The story, a salacious cocktail of sex, betrayal, and power, made headlines. The department, once her pride, now wanted nothing to do with her. The scandal sent shockwaves through the department. Trust, the very foundation of law enforcement, was shattered. The public, once respectful, now viewed every officer with suspicion. The blue wall of silence, already crumbling, seemed ready to collapse. Officer Bell's actions had left an indelible stain, a constant reminder of the potential for corruption even in the most unexpected places. Officer Angel's story is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that power, no matter how small, can corrupt. It began innocently enough, with a young officer eager to serve and protect. But as time went on, the pressures of the job and the allure of authority began to take their toll. Angel found herself making small compromises, justifying minor infractions in the name of efficiency. What started as bending the rules soon turned into breaking them outright. She believed she was still in control, that she could stop at any time. But the truth was, she was already on a slippery slope. It highlights the vulnerabilities of the human psyche, the ease with which we can be seduced by our own desires. Angel's story is not just about one officer's fall from grace, it's a reflection of a broader issue within the system. The constant exposure to crime and corruption can desensitize even the most well-intentioned individuals. The line between right and wrong becomes increasingly blurred, and the justifications for unethical behavior more convincing. Angel's descent was gradual, almost imperceptible at first. She started to believe that the ends justified the means, that her actions were for the greater good. But in reality, she was losing herself, one decision at a time. And it serves as a stark warning to those entrusted with the law, that the line between right and wrong can be blurred and the consequences of crossing it, devastating. The final chapter of Angel's story is a sobering one. She was eventually caught, her actions laid bare for all to see. The courtroom was a place of reckoning, where her fate was sealed. The gavel's slam was not just a judgment on her actions, but a reminder to all officers of the heavy responsibility they bear. Angel's imprisonment was a tragic end to a promising career, but it also served as a powerful lesson. The trust placed in law enforcement is sacred, and the abuse of that trust can lead to ruin. Her story is a call to vigilance, a plea for integrity, and a reminder that no one is immune to the temptations of power.